College baseball in 2026, this isn't going to be normal. We've got blue bloods reloading, we've got mid-majors that look like pro teams, and we've got more first-round talent walking around college fields right now than at any point in the last decade. And if you miss what's about to happen for the next 5 months, you're going to regret it all the way through June. Here's the thing. Every single year we say the same thing. We talk about talent, we talk about storylines, we talk about the next big thing. But 2026 feels different. This feels like the year where the portal completely reshapes competitive balance, where mid-majors actually have the firepower to knock off blue buds, and where sitting on your couch watching Friday Night Baseball becomes must-see entertainment. So here are the 10 things you absolutely need to know before the first pitch of the 2026 season, and I'm telling you right now, if you don't have these on your radar, you're going to be confused when it comes around and the brackets start forming for regionals. Number one has got to be UCLA. They're out for blood, and they brought everyone back. The Bruins are the preseason number one team in the country, not just one poll consensus. ESPN has them at number one. D1 Baseball has them at number one. Baseball America has them in the conversation at the very top. But here's why. They made it all the way to Omaha last spring, and they were literally one series away from winning the national championship. And then, instead of watching the portal tear the team apart, which is normally what happens when you get close to the national title, UCLA basically said, nope, we're keeping everyone. We're talking about a team that's 90% returning production. That does not happen in 2026. The transfer portal is a weapon, the draft is a weapon, and teams usually use that to take away players. At the center of all this is Rock Chalowski, and I need you to understand how special this kid is. He's not the best player in college baseball. He's having one of the best statistical seasons we've seen from a shortstop in years. Last year, he hit .353 with a .480 on-base percentage. Those aren't college numbers. Those are near professional numbers. And here's the thing about Chalowski that the scouts love. He's got a 90% end-zone contact rate. He struck out only 30 times all season while walking 45 times. That's absolutely elite. He's also a super smooth plus shortstop. They also have Mulavai Levu at the corners with Roman Martin in the infield. Multiple preseason All-Americans. These guys are experienced. They know what it takes to win at the highest level, and they're all coming back. Here's the thing that makes them dangerous. If UCLA doesn't get back to Omaha, if they don't make a deep run through the postseason, people are going to view this as a massive failure. This is basically a professional team, a super team. This is what it looks like when a school says they're going to reload through the portal and keep their best players. This team is going to be absolutely loaded this year. Next up is LSU, led by Jay Johnson. They're looking to try and go back-to-back this year and win their third title in 4 years. That's absolutely elite. Derek Curiel returns in the outfield. He's a preseason All-American, among others, and he's a guy that scouts are tracking as a potential first-round pick. Stephen Milam returns at shortstop, and LSU is going to be loaded this year. They grabbed Zach York from Grand Canyon, and here's the storyline everyone's talking about. Kason Evans, the pitcher, is making a role change. Last year he was a reliever, and he was really good. And this year he's on a preseason All-America team as a starter. Think about that for a second. This is the transfer portal and role adjustment era, all wrapped into one. A guy who's valuable coming out of the pen is now being asked to be an ace, and everyone thinks he can do it. Sportsbooks have LSU as the betting favorite to win the 2026 national championship. The odds are around plus 800 to plus 900, which means there's real money on the line, suggesting that LSU can repeat. And here's the bigger picture. If they win a championship this year, they'd be approaching dynasty status in college baseball. We're talking about a program that's won multiple national titles in a 4-year window, and all behind completely different guys. First, it was Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz. Last year, it was Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson. I'd love to see what they can do. The core is back, the coaching is elite, and the infrastructure is built for winning championships. Can they go back-to-back this year is the question. Next up, we're talking mid-major baseball. Coastal Carolina made it to the College World Series finals last year, and they're the most dangerous mid-major in America right now. They don't get a bunch of respect because they're a mid-major. The SEC has the resources, the ACC has the tradition, and the Big 12 and Big 10 have a bunch of loaded programs. But Coastal Carolina said none of that matters. We're going to build a pitching staff that can compete with everyone, and we're going to go make a run. Dominic Carbone, Cameron Flukie, Ryan Lynch. We're talking about all Americans here. These guys are absolutely elite, and they're led by Flukie. He sits in the upper 90s with his fastball and is absolutely gross. He has a 49% miss rate in the zone. He's got a slider with tilt, he's got a changeup, and this is a guy with legitimate big league stuff. He's ranked as a top 10 prospect for the 2026 MLB draft by MLB Pipeline. And with Dominic Carbone as our closer and Ryan Lynch also coming out of the pen, they're going to have a chance to just select the game and win it with that pitching staff. Here's a storyline that matters. If they can get back to Omaha, they're not mid-major anymore. They're just a program, they're a destination, and they're a place where recruits want to go and transfers want to commit. One more good run changes the entire trajectory of a program and almost makes them like an SEC team. So that will be definitely an interesting storyline to watch this year. Number 4, this is the year of star power. There are more than 24 colleges represented in the 2026 MLB Draft Prospect Rankings up near the top. And let me tell you, there are some elite impact guys at these schools. Georgia Tech, you got Drew Burress. Alabama, you got Justin LeBron. LSU, you have a load of guys, including Kason Evans and Derek Curiel. But number 1, obviously, is going to be UCLA with Rock Chalowski. And then Duke. Transfer to Virginia, AJ Gracia is going to be certainly elite, and that's just the first team. You expand to include second and third team All-Americans, there's so many elite level guys. Daniel Cuvée, that's a future big leaguer. Brady Ballinger, we'll talk about him later. He has absolute juice. But here's the thing about watching college baseball in 2026. You're not just watching games, you're scouting the future MLB. You're watching tape that scouts are going to be breaking down in draft rooms. You're watching video that's going to influence draft boards. And you're watching the future of professional baseball live on your screen. As less high school guys get picked and more guys go to college with NIL, these rosters just get more and more stacked with talent. Our 5th big storyline to watch is the ACC versus the SEC arms race. They're at war, and the rest of the college baseball is playing for third place. Obviously, you have teams like UCLA and Coastal Carolina, but then the SEC and the ACC are running everything else. You look at programs like Texas A&M, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Georgia, Florida State, Miami, North Carolina, Clemson. You could go on and on naming SEC and ACC teams that are at the top of college baseball. Wake Forest and Vanderbilt, I didn't even name those, and you still get the point. But here's the bigger implication. If you want to follow the 2026 draft prospects, if you want to understand who's going to be a top 100 pick and know the future of professional baseball looks like, you're watching the SEC and you're watching the ACC. It also means the postseason tournament is going to be stacked with teams from these two conferences. A few years ago, it was the SEC and the ACC only in 2024. Now, luckily, you've seen teams like UCLA from the Big Ten be up near the top, but the SEC and the ACC are dominating with resources, and they're dominating with talent. There's another 6th storyline to watch, though, and it's those teams that are getting left out. Texas A&M has Gavin Grahovic, who's an elite hitter, and he's going to be leading their charge there with guys like Caden Sorrell, and Texas A&M could be really good, but they didn't crack the preseason top 25. Another team is Alabama. They came in at number 26, and they'll be led by one of the top picks in this year's draft in Justin LeBron. When the NCAA regional tournaments come around, when those 16 regional tournament sites are happening across the country, these snub teams from the top 25 are going to be hungry, and they're going to be in there. They're going to be wanting to prove that they belong. And here's the thing about regional tournaments. Upsets happen all the time. We're going to see a mid-major team win, hopefully, and there's probably going to be a lot of mid-major teams in super regionals. So let's look past the top 25. There's going to be so many more teams. Alabama and Texas A&M are obviously going to be the front runners, though. Next up, let's talk about these video game hitters in college baseball. Just the guys that absolutely rake. Daniel Cuvée at Miami last year was absolutely crazy. Hit 20 doubles and 18 home runs. That is power. Brady Ballinger at Kansas, as shown on the screen. The Big 12's not known as a hitter's conference, but he had an OPS of a 1.160. That's elite. He's going to be a DH, and he's going to make such a big impact at this level and the next. Another guy, Drew Burress. He just fires balls out of the ballpark consistently. An elite hitter, and you're going to be seeing him up near the top of the draft and potentially at the number 1 spot. And these are just guys on the preseason All-America teams. You have guys like Miles Bailey who are also hitting the ball way out of the park. It's going to be so much fun to watch. It means 12-10 games. It means 15 hit nights. It means that pitching, while still incredibly important, is going to take a backseat to hitting in 2026. The talent pool of hitters is deeper than it's been in years, and that translates to home runs, excitement, big plays, and more reasons to watch. This is great for fans, and it's neutral for the guys building the lineups because you're going to have incredible depth at every position. But the hitting will not be getting shut out. The aces are legit. We talked about Cam Fluke earlier. Hunter Elliott from Ole Miss is a first-team preseason All-American with elite velocity and plus command. Aiden Kanak from Clemson is a preseason All-American. Tony Pluta, preseason first-team. Dax Whitney, elite young arm, and there's going to be so many young arms all over the country. You've got Ethan Norby at North Carolina, and you've got another Ethan and Ethan Kleinschmidt also at Oregon State with Dax Whitney. There's going to be so many good rotations, so many good arms. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Here's what matters. Scouts have Friday circled on their calendars. If you're scouting the 2026 draft, you're going to figure out which pitchers you're picking on Fridays. And that's when the best arms take the mound. That's when you get the clearest picture of who's got legit stuff, legit command, and who's got the intangibles that are going to translate to professional baseball. So watch out for that in 2026. And don't forget about the portal. There's been huge portal changes. Think of AJ Gracia and many other Duke players who followed Chris Pollard to Virginia. What role were they filling? The Virginia spot, which is Brian O'Connor, who left over to go to Mississippi State and took a lot of great players with him. And there's already a guy like Ace Reese over there who's elite. And where did their other players go? Harry Ford went to Tennessee. There is talent going all over the country, up and down levels. It's going to be insane. It just keeps getting crazier every year. And lastly, I'm going to give you my Omaha 8 because I want to hear your Omaha 8 in the comment section. My first team that I have locked in is UCLA and LSU. I think they're both going to end up making it along with Texas. That gives me 3 teams. And fourth in, I'm going to go with Mississippi State. Next up, I'm going to go with Georgia Tech. That's 5 teams. We still got a couple more. I'm going to go North Carolina as the 10th team, finally breaking that curse and breaking down the door, along with East Carolina as another team that I could think could break down the door and make it to Omaha. I'm going to leave that last spot up to a mid-major team of your choosing, any mid-major team, whatever you're a fan of. There's going to be a mid-major team in Omaha. You best believe. I just don't know who it's going to be. Can't wait to see the Cinderella run, though. So go ahead and drop your pick in the comment section down below. Tell me your Omaha 8. Tell me your national championship and subscribe. And don't miss any more college baseball content.